Hello everyone, I am Lance Noel Saray. Together with my partner, Alexis James Soronda, we are here to give you all the knowledge you're going to need in doing your literature review.
Review of related literature and studies. From the word literature, literature are published materials such as newspapers, journals, magazines, reference books, textbooks, and etc. Related literature means all these sources you use as reference which are related to the topic of your research to be conducted. On the other hand, studies are materials that are finished, defended, and published in a form of research. Examples of these are theses and dissertations from master's and doctorate degrees. However, you can also use as reference from research that were written and defended by undergraduate levels if it is related to your study to be conducted. Literature review. Summary of current empirical and theoretical knowledge about particular practice problem that provides a basis for the study conducted. It provides a scholarly context for the argument you propose and support in your paper. It helps readers perceive how your argument fits into past and present scholarly discussion of your subject. This includes description of current knowledge base, gaps in knowledge base, and contribution of present study to knowledge base. So, a literature review is a detailed review and summary of current literature which is relevant to the topic of your study. This strengthens the need and the importance of your research to identify gaps and conflicts from existing literature. And if possible, you can plan on how to address these gaps and resolve the conflicts through your study. It is a critical recap of what has already been researched on a topic. According to Macombes 2021, the purpose of literature review are: first, to demonstrate your familiarity with the topic and scholarly context. Second, develop a theoretical framework and methodology for your research. Third, position yourself in relation to other researchers and theories. Fourth, show how your research addresses a gap or contributes to a debate. So the theoretical framework is the structure that can hold or support a theory of a research study. The theoretical framework introduces and describes the theory that explains why the research problem under the study exists. The methodology, it involves studying the methods used in your field and the theories or principles behind them in order to develop an approach that matches your objective. So in RRL, you need to prove that there is an importance in performing the research. Prove that you have the basis that there are existing problems or struggles behind the research. Prove that we have an existing problem and the need to do the research study. Steps in doing literature review. First, search for relevant literature. Must have a clearly defined the topic. Search for literature related to your research problem and questions. Start by creating a list of keywords related to your research question. Use your keywords to begin searching for sources. Literature means any academic sources like books or journal articles about your topic. Studies means research that are defended and published. First, you need to search in the right scholarly databases such as Google Scholar or ScienceDirect or even in academic or public libraries. Search your keywords with Boolean operators to help you filter and refine the search results. The number of sources that you will be required to review will depend on what the literature review is for and how advanced you are in your studies. It could be from 5 sources for undergraduate levels, or it could be more than 50 if you are on your thesis. Keywords. Major concepts of or variables of a research problem or topic used to search a database. May be single terms or phrase. Each keyword used should be listed in a written search plan. Most databases have a thesaurus that can be used to identify keywords. performing complex searches, the use of AND to find sources that contain more than one keyword, such as social media and body image and Generation Z, the use of OR to find sources that contain one of a range of synonyms, such as Generation Z or teenagers or adolescents, the use of NOT to exclude results containing certain terms, such as apple, not fruit. So the use of Boolean operators such as AND, OR, and NOT are very useful when you need to filter your search results. Sources included in a literature review: theoretical literature, concept analysis, theories, and models that support the research purpose; empirical literature, relevant studies; citation, a source quoted by the author; periodical, a journal; monograph, a book or published conference proceedings; thesis and dissertation, research by master's and doctoral degree students. Databases to search for journals and articles include your university's library catalog, Google Scholar, JSTOR, EBSCO, Project Muse, Humanities and Social Sciences, Medline, Life Sciences and Biomedicine, EconLit, Economics, Inspect, such as Physics, Engineering, and Computer Science. So where to find these sources for your review of related literature and studies? So you can find sources for your RRLS through academic libraries, public libraries, and on the internet. Sources from RRLs are classified as primary sources and secondary sources. Primary sources are sources which are written by the person who generated the published ideas. Therefore, in research, it is written by the person or persons who conducted the research. In theory, it is written by the theorist who developed the theory. On the other hand, secondary sources are sources that paraphrase the works of researchers and theorists. When using the internet, you can use Google whenever you will find related literature to your research, since newspapers, magazines, and textbooks are publishers that have websites in which you can access to obtain these sources. And Google Scholar whenever you will find related study to your research. Take note that it is important to check the source of any information obtained on the web to judge its validity. That doesn't mean that any information you obtain on the web is credible and valid. That's why you must be able to validate all your sources coming from the internet.
The second step in doing your literature review is to evaluate and select the sources. Evaluate which source are most relevant to your questions. Ask yourself these questions. What question or problem is the author addressing? What are the key concepts and how they are defined? What are the key theories, models, and methods? Does the research establish frameworks or take innovative approach? What are the results and conclusion of the study? How does the publication relate to other literature in the field? Does it confirm, add, or challenge established knowledge? How does the publication contribute to your understanding of the topic? What are the key insights and arguments? What are the strengths and weaknesses of the research? Take notes and cite your sources. As you read, you should also begin the writing process. Take notes that you can later incorporate into your text of your literature review. It is important to keep track of your sources with citations to avoid plagiarism. It can be helpful to make an annotated bibliography where you compile your citation, information, and write a paragraph of summary and analysis for each source. Identify themes, debates, and gaps. In this step, you can look for the trends, patterns, a theory, method, or results. Do certain approaches become more or less popular over time? Themes. What questions or concepts reoccur across the literature? Debates. The conflict and contradictions where Do sources disagree? Pivotal publications are the influential theories or studies that change the direction of the field. Gaps. What is the missing from the literature? Are there weaknesses that need to be addressed? So now, we can start writing our literature review. Just like every scholarly text, it consists of an introduction, body, and conclusion. The introduction should clearly establish the focus and purpose of the literature review. Body. Summarize and synthesize. Give an overview of the main points of each source and combine them into a coherent whole. Analyze and interpret. Don't just paraphrase other researches. Critically evaluate. Mention the strengths and weaknesses of your sources. Content from studies must be presented honestly and not distorted to support your selected project. Weakness of study need to be addressed, but it's not necessarily to be highly critical of a researcher's work. Write in well-structured paragraph. Use transition words and topic sentences to draw connections, comparisons, and contrasts. Transitional words and phrases connects and relates ideas, sentences, and paragraphs. They assess in the logical flow of ideas as they signal the relationship between sentence and paragraphs. Signal phrases makes the distinction between the writer and the source clear for the audience. Signal phrase utilize the APA citation along with the past tense verbs. Here are some examples of common signal phrases used in summary and paraphrases. As Smith, open parenthesis, 2004, close parenthesis, noted. According to Stevens, 2002. Moreover, the Smith, 2004, added. Jones, 2001, concluded. McHugh, 2003, contrasted this idea. Elliott and Proe, 2008, argued. These are the examples of transition phrases that can be used to have a coherent body in your paragraph. The body of the literature must be organized. One way of doing it is to outline your literature review structures. Here are the strategies in outlining the body structure. Chronological, thematic, methodological, and theoretical. Chronological is the simplest approach to trace the development of the topic over time. However, it chooses this strategy. Be careful to avoid simply listing and summarizing sources in order. Try to analyze patterns, turning points, and key debates that shape the direction of the fields. Give your interpretation on how and why certain developments occurred. Thematic. If you have found some recurring central themes, you can organize your literature review into subsections or subheadings that address different aspects of the study. For example, if you are reviewing literature about inequalities in migrant health outcomes, key themes might include healthcare policy, language barrier, cultural attitudes, legal status, and economic access. Methodological. If you draw sources from different disciplines or fields that use a variety of research methods, you might want to compare the results and conclusions that emerge from different approaches. For example, look at what the results have emerged in qualitative versus quantitative research. Discuss how the topic have been approached by empirical versus theoretical scholarships. Divide the literature into sociological, historical, and cultural sources. Theoretical. A literature review is often found for theoretical framework. You can use it to discuss various theories, models, and definition of key concepts. You might argue the relevance of specific theoretical approach or combine various theoretical concepts to create a framework for your research. Citation. It is a way of strengthening or concretizing one's idea by citing the similar or relevant ideas or findings of other researchers and authorities. Documentation was done through footnoting or parenthetical reference citation. Modern writers now use parenthetical reference style. The style is called American Psychological Association style or the APA style. Conclusion. In a conclusion, you should summarize the key findings you have taken from the literature and emphasize their significance. Show how your research addresses gaps, contributes new knowledge, or discuss how have drawn on existing theories and methods to build a framework for your research. Common question researchers like I usually ask is, how long does a literature review or how many pages does it usually take up? Now, in absence of instruction from your research advisor on how long or how many pages will it should be, literature review should be proportionate to the length of your paper or your manuscript. If your paper is 15 pages long, about 2 to 3 pages for literature review would suffice. Now, where do the literature review usually be found? The literature review usually comes near the beginning of your thesis or dissertation. After the introduction, it grounds your research in a scholarly field and leads directly to the theoretical framework or the methodology.
So, this is an example of a review of related literature and studies. So, the title of this research is Math Talk as an Inquiry-Based Strategy in Teaching Mathematics. So, in this first paragraph, it is what we call an introductory statement. So, it is written here what to expect the content of the chapter 2. So, the purpose of the introductory statement is to strengthen the need or the purpose of performing the research. So, in the second paragraph, this is what we call the topic discussion. So, the topic discussion consists of citations from numerous authors. So, in every related literature or study, there must be citations. In-text citations must include an author and the year of publication of the article. And all of those in-text citations must also be seen in the bibliography part or the reference of the research. So, in this study, he discussed all about the inquiry-based learning strategy by Davis. So, in the second paragraph, you can see the topic discussion about inquiry-based learning strategy by Davis. So, the creator of the research describes the inquiry-based learning strategy according to Davis. So, in the next topic discussion, he explains all about the math talk. He defines math talk since this is the specific strategy in his study. So, in this topic discussion, math talk as an inquiry-based strategy defined by Hofford Apples et al. 2013 as a way to have structured mathematical discussions that construct knowledge and meaning. The authors also defined a math talk learning community as a place where meaningful mathematical discussions construct knowledge and support the mathematical learning of all participants. They added that teachers are not bearers of knowledge, but instead they guide and extend students' thinking as the class listens and learns to accept other students' ideas. So in the second topic discussion, he explains all about math talk. So in the third topic discussion of his study, it is all about students' performance in mathematics. Math talk was used to address the existing problem in the students' performance in mathematics, as stated by Daliva 2015, based on the trends in mathematics and science study, or TIMSS. Students' performance and styles in mathematics and science program of 50 countries indicated that mathematics instruction can be characterized as mile wide and an inch deep. So, in this topic discussion, he proves that there is an existing problem when it comes to teachings in mathematics. So, here it was supported by the statement of Altar 2014 that mathematics is still one of the fields on of the fields in which most Filipino students show poor performance. He cited the result of the National Achievement Test, which further showed that many of the Filipino secondary students are still performing low in mathematics. So, he establishes that Filipino students are having a hard time when it comes to mathematics based on ALTAR 2014. So, in writing RRL, we need to prove that there are existing gaps or conflicts and there is a need to plan on how to address these gaps or resolve these conflicts. So, the next topic discussion is all about the problems encountered in teaching and learning mathematics. So, from the previous topic discussion, it stated the poor performance of students. In this topic discussion, it is about the teaching methods. So, but what lead those poor performances of the students? Pacania 2017 enumerated that although some students have very strong memory skills, others struggle to remember simple facts. Although some students make sense of mathematical concepts on their own, others struggle to connect meaning to simple expressions. So in this topic discussion, he stated that problems in teaching mathematics to the students. In the last paragraph of an RRLS is what we call a grand synthesis. So in this synthesis, it stated that it was clear with the aforementioned related literature and studies that the performance of the students in mathematics is low. One of the possible reasons behind the low mathematics performance of the student mentioned was the teaching methods. It was stressed out that the true learning is not only about memorizing concepts or by getting the correct answer. It is more on deepening the understanding of concepts through inquiry. This thought was adopted by various researches on inquiry-based and strengthened by the researches about math talk. So this paragraph is what we call the grand synthesis. So the grand synthesis is an analysis of all the citations you've used. He proved from all his citations that the performance of the Filipino students when it comes to mathematics is low. So he established in his argument that there is a need to perform the research. Overall, the purpose of the review of related literature and studies is to prove that there are existing problems we need to resolve and the research must be performed in order to do so.